Hey mama, after the birth of your baby, the next big thing that you get to look forward to is nursing your baby for the first time. And nursing your baby is so beneficial for both you and your baby, but it can also come along with several questions and uncertainties, especially if you're doing it for the very first time. A big question that mamas have is my baby getting enough milk? So in this video, I'm answering how much your newborn needs to eat during those first few days and weeks so that you're able to trust that you and your baby are working together to make your breastfeeding experience a great one. I'm Bridget, and I'm a birth doula in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I love helping moms love their birth. For more information on how to have an empowered and informed pregnancy, birth, and postpartum, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and have hit the little bell next to the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. So there are some things that you can't fully understand until you experience them, and breastfeeding is one of those things, but having as many answers about what's to come can help you be prepared and feel confident about your first steps as a mother. When it comes to breastfeeding, there's a lot you're going to learn just by doing it, but getting a head start can really help you have a better, more empowering experience. So by the end of this video, you'll know how much milk you're producing and how much your baby needs from you in those first days so that you can be confident in your ability to nurse your baby. So believe it or not, you start producing milk before your baby is even born. At around 16 weeks of your pregnancy, your body starts producing a rich type of milk called colostrum, which will be your baby's first food. This colostrum is thick, it's kind of sticky, it's like gold in color and high in carbohydrates, protein, and antibodies, but it's low in fat. And everything in that colostrum is perfectly formulated for the baby to digest it, to build up its immune system, and their gut health. Now, obviously, there's not much use for this colostrum while you're pregnant, since your baby is getting all their nutrition from your blood that's being filtered through the placenta and then on to them. But once baby is born, they're going to be ready to nurse soon after, or it might take them an hour or so before they start to show signs of wanting to nurse. Some signs that you might see that show your baby is ready to start nursing are like sticking their tongue out, like nah, 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 or sucking on their hand or on their fingers, or bobbing their head around your chest, searching for your breast. And when they start showing signs like those, it's a good idea to get them on the breast for their first feeding. Now, when they start eating, you're probably going to wonder if they are getting anything. And a good way to test that out is by expressing a bit of colostrum so that you can see for yourself what's happening when your baby is sucking. Now, in order to express colostrum, this is what you're going to do. So you're going to cup your breast in a C shape position with your hand, and you're going to take your thumb at the top of the areola, which is this dark part around the nipple, and you're going to squeeze toward the nipple. And it might take a few tries, and maybe you'll need a nurse or your doula to show you how to do this, but once you get it down, you should see some of that thick colostrum coming through the tip of the nipple. So again, you just start kind of above the areola. You might want to massage a little bit, try to get some of it nice and loose, and then you're going to cup it like in a C shape and then squeeze toward the nipple. And it's going to be a sensation that you've never experienced before because typically you're not trying to squeeze or express anything from your nipple. So it might not be the most comfortable sensation, but it's really satisfying to see some of the milk that's actually coming out of your breast so that it builds up your confidence that baby is actually getting something while they're sucking. Now, you'll notice if you do express that you're not actually getting a whole lot of colostrum. It's not like a stream of milk that's coming out, but a little bit goes a long way for your newborn during those first couple days of life. In fact, your newborn is born with their stomach a pretty small size, and it's actually the size of just a small bead or a marble. So it doesn't take a whole lot of colostrum to nourish your baby. So between your baby sucking and then falling asleep at the breast, they should be getting plenty of liquid gold to fill their little bellies that are about the size of a marble. Now, within the next few days of life, your baby's belly is going to grow to about the size of a golf ball. And then at that point, your breast milk will really start to come in. Your colostrum then transitions into more of a mature milk at around that 48 to 72 hour mark after your baby is born. And that milk is more white than it was yellow at the beginning, and it's not as thick as that first milk. When your milk does come in, you'll notice your breast feeling much fuller, and you might start to leak if you haven't fed baby in a while, and you'll start experiencing a letdown sensation when your baby nurses, which will feel like your milk filling up your breasts after your baby has been stimulating your nipple for a while. When you have a letdown, it might feel like your milk has dropped into your breast, but as your baby continues to nurse, that fullness of your breast will go down, and that's another good indication that your baby is getting plenty of milk to feed them and keep their belly full. So once your milk comes in, it's important to continue building up your milk supply. And the best way to do that is by nursing on demand and making sure that your baby's latch is correct. And what I mean by nursing on demand is that when your baby starts showing those hungry cues that I talked about earlier in this video, that's when you should nurse. So it's not necessarily off a schedule every 2 to 3 hours or whatever schedule you have, but when baby is showing those hungry cues, it's a good idea that it's time for another feeding. Now, I also mentioned latch. And latch is very important because if baby's latch isn't correct, it might not matter how long or often they nurse if the latch is affecting the amount of milk they are getting. Now, if you're experiencing discomfort at the beginning of the nursing session, that's not super uncommon, especially if you are breastfeeding for the first time. But you want to make sure that that sensation, that uncomfortable sensation, goes away. And if it doesn't go away within those first 30 seconds to a minute of your nursing session, you're going to want to try to break the latch and try again. Now, getting a great latch can be a little bit frustrating at times, and so if you're having a difficult time getting that really awesome latch that feels good and makes you confident that baby is getting enough milk, I go through a breastfeeding checklist in this video up here that I'm linking that will help you get a latch that feels good and encourages your baby to drink plenty of milk. Now, there's no exact amount of breast milk that a baby is supposed to drink. But if you're pumping, it's going to be about 1.5 ounces per feeding about every 2 to 3 hours. But again, you don't want to be on that strict schedule. That's just a rough estimate of how long baby should be eating, but really you want to be going off baby's hunger cues. And really the best gauge on whether your baby is being fed enough is not by the amount of ounces or the time that they've been eating at the breast, but rather by their cues. So if baby has been fed enough, they're going to fall off the breast on their own at the end of the feeding, or they're going to turn away from the nipple. They're going to be relaxed after their feed, maybe even drowsy and falling into that milk drunk state. And another one to look for is that by the end of a feed, if they are full and satisfied, their hands are going to be unclenched. You'll notice when your baby is hungry, their hands are going to turn into little clenched fists, and that's another good indication that a feed is coming up. So when you see these signs of satisfaction from your baby, you can be confident that yes, your baby is getting enough milk and that you're giving them exactly what they need to nourish them. And other signs that show that your baby is getting enough is that they're having frequent wet diapers, that they are pooping often, and that they are gaining weight. And so when you see all of these things together, you know that you're producing enough and they are drinking enough in order for them to grow and thrive. Mamas, breastfeeding is such a special experience to share between you and your baby, but like anything good in life, it's also mixed with challenges and uncertainties. And confidence is key as you begin your breastfeeding journey. So I hope this video has helped you feel confident in your body's ability to nourish your baby during those first few days after birth. So thanks for being with me in this video, Mama, and I will see you in the next one.